Hi Silhouetters, this is Doodling Debbie here with another video tutorial. Our forum moderator asked me to make a couple of videos just on the basics of drawing a square out and a circle out and how to keep them in shape and everything and how to make perforated lines to make a box and so on. So this is very basic and I'm using the Silhouette Studio Designer Edition, but this also works very well with any other uh, software, the other studio software. So here I'm grabbing my rectangular tool. I'm going to hold down my shift key, and while I do this, I'm going to drag it out so it makes a perfectly square box. See, if you see the measurements, they're equal on all sides, 5.885 by 5.885. So that's how you go about doing that. Okay, now she also wanted me to show you the line tool. And here in the Silhouette Studio Designer Edition, I'm very lucky to have this wonderful little ruler that's up here so I can measure out exactly the distance that I want for my lines. But there's so many ways you can use your grid to do the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to use my ruler in this example. So I'm going to go to my line tool, and because I like my perforated lines to be blue, I'm going to color them, select the blue for my line color up here. Now, I want these to be about an inch. Since this is just for demonstration, it really doesn't make any difference. So I line it up there at my inch line. I'm going to hold down the shift key so I can draw a perfectly straight line. There we go. Now I'm going to click on that line, hold down my control key, click on it again. This duplicates it for me. And once again, from where this is setting, I'm going to put it right there. And we can go up here to rotate one copy. So I'm going to rotate one copy. And I'm going to move it out of the way here for just a second because I'm going to select all of this and I'm going to turn it this way so I can make my 1 inch marks over here. Oh, we need to rotate that back now. Go ahead and delete this one out. Forgot I was going to turn it. Okay, so you want to grab this. I'm going to put this up here at my 1 inch marker again. Control and click to bring it back in. That makes us a duplicate. Control and click, and I'm going to put it right here. There we go. Okay, now that I have all my lines made for the, say this is my box top, I'm going to hold down the shift key and select my other lines. It looked like it selected my circle. So we're going to do this, shift, shift, and I'm still holding my shift key down as I select these, shift. Now I'm going to go into my cut style window and I'm going to select perforate. Now that I have my box made, a simple box, I'm going to go ahead and group all of these together. Now to make my box bottom, I'm going to control click. I'm going to bring this across the top because see they're exactly even, and as we know the bottom of the box needs to be a tad bit smaller. So I'm going to go over here, go to my scale window, and I want to lock the aspect ratio as I bring this in just to make sure it's a tad bit inside so the lid of the box will fit. So now let's shift this over. See, that's probably just about enough. Maybe I just add a tad bit more. Okay, so there is your basic box. There's your top of the box and there's your bottom. And once these are perforated, um, you could, or you just have to fold them in, or you can slice these, bring these sides in and stuff like that. I could have made cut lines right here. and just made the squares in the center with the perforated lines, so those would be the fold ups. But this will get you started, and it shows you how to make a basic box. Okay, now a lot of people think I have to cover this a little bit because and I want to go back and change my cut lines to red again because it helps keep me straight, and it also reminds me to change my cut style back to cut because as you can see it was still unperforated. Okay, a lot of people think that they can weld anything together, so we're going to just show you why you can't. Okay, there we go. I'm going to go back to my regular view, and sometimes people they'll take three lines and they'll put them all together and think that they have a triangle. Well, they do have a triangle, and it would cut if you were just cutting the triangle and you left them all in place, it would cut. But the problem is, say you wanted to weld these two shapes together, I hit weld down here and it won't weld. Why? Because this is a closed path and this is not a closed path. Now sometimes there's a couple of ways of doing this. You can add these little points together if you want, and sometimes they go right together, but the best way to do it is, let's delete all of these little shapes out here, to make a triangle is to double click on it and manipulate. I have it on curve there. Manipulate your points. And I don't know why it's making, oh, I have a curve. Okay, we'll make it smooth. Okay, let's go ahead and delete that out and start out again because I don't know why it didn't make my triangle. I'll just draw this out, double click. We're going to add a editing point right here, show you how these can be manipulated. So that's kind of a house shape. Oops, I have to undo it all because I still have that extra point there. Grab this and you bring it in and line that up with the center there. And now you have a triangle. And if I were doing this for a project, of course, I would line it up better and take my time to make sure I had exactly the shape I wanted. But this just shows you how much can be done by editing these points. And this, like I said, this is a closed path. And let's take the rectangle tool again. And I'm going to just add this together, and this is a closed path. So remember, to weld you have to have two closed paths. So I'm grab these together and I'm going to hit that weld button, and now ta-da, you have an arrow. And also a closed path can be filled with color. So there you go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and delete this out and show you some of the other tools. If you hold your cursor over the tools, it will show you. This is to draw a polygon, and this is a curve shape, and this is your freehand tool. And the way they work is by doing little clicks at a time. To make the shape that you want. And remember, if it isn't exactly perfect, you can always go back in and edit these. And I'm spending more time on this than I really should because this is just a tutorial and I'm not making anything. But see, as you see these little red points, they're starting to come together. This is what closes the path. Once I click here, it makes a closed path for me. And you can see there's little jiggy, jaggedy edges. And so what I would do is just go in here to edit these a little bit more, smooth them out to make a design. And once again, it's a closed path, so we can fill it with color. There you go. Just delete that out. And basically this tool works in the same way. Kind of click and drag and make the shapes that you want to make. And this is great for making pretty little flourishes and stuff, or shapes on your flourishes. And we delete that out. And then this is your freehand tool. And you just start drawing with this. You hold down your key and just draw away. And remember, once it's a closed path, because I'll show you why. Okay, let's make another image over here. And I'm just going to draw this shape. And I say, oh, I want to weld this to the bottom right over here. Now I select them both, because that's what we do when we weld. And I hit the weld button, but look, no weld. That's because this is not a closed path. So I'm going to double click on here. I'm going to bring this in over here, attach it. And now let's see. Go and weld it. And ta-da! You've been able to weld two shapes that you created freehand. Okay, this is just the basic drawing tools that I wanted to go over and show you some basic steps. Hopefully I'll get a chance to get back and make some more, and we'll go over each tool and what you can do with it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the Silhouette Plus forum. Thanks for watching. Have a happy crafting day. Bye-bye.